Hi, this is Kelli.
And this is Sue.
Welcome to Front Porch AF, where friends and neighbors
gather to have a drink and a laugh and figure out how to solve all the problems of the world.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers, y'all. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, we're in our fancy new studio, which got even fancier. And
with these fancy microphones,
we also don't have the big mics. We have the lavalier mics, which clip on. It's
and
clip
hopefully
on.
Will stay on.
Yeah, clip on, stay on. Let's see.
Yeah, well, so today's show is going to be a good one right on the tail end of this ice storm and everybody thinking about their home damage and everything. We're going to be talking about homeowners insurance with John Shelby. Everything you want to know about homeowners insurance, but we're afraid to ask.
Which is pretty much everything about homeowners insurance. Did I just tell you, they just sent me a random thing as I was coming down here today. Opened up my email. We have revised the terms of your, and I go, does it mean I can't go in the basement anymore? But here we are.
Here we are.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully they're not going to that level.
But who's our guest?
John Shelby.
John Shelby.
With John Shelby Insurance right here in Madison and
downtown
Madison and Goodlettsville, yeah.
Okay.
So, so we're going to get started with that in a minute, but in the meantime, it is early, so what are you having to drink today?
Now, this is water because it is very early. But if I were still in Florida, I just got back from Florida, we would be having the $5 biker bar breakfast Bloody Mary.
Oh my God.
That I got. Okay.
You got a picture of that,
Daytona
right?
Beach. There is a picture. I will put it on the web. Went down there. My sister and her friends took me. It was biker week in Daytona Beach.
Is that why you went?
Oh, well, of course. But the bar down there, I'll have it on there. I want to say Homeboy, but that's not it. Of course it's not.
It's not Homeboy.
No, it's not. But anyway, listen, here's what they had. $5. Buttered croissant. A buttered croissant. Vegetables, celery, olive pickle. They had 2 pieces of cheese, 2 pieces of salami, and 2 tiger shrimp.
That was in the Bloody?
That was in the Bloody. And, wait for it, an entire boiled egg.
How did you have your whole breakfast sitting on top of the...
There will be pictures.
That's crazy. I can't wait to see that.
What are you drinking?
Diet Sprite.
Diet Sprite.
Yeah, it's morning.
Listen, you came for the alcohol, but we'll have to wait till we start taping after 9 in the morning.
Yeah,
to get to that.
It needs to be at least 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so
neighborhood notes.
You got any?
Oh, I do.
You'll go for it.
All right. I got pinched by TSA for trying to carry a weapon on board a plane.
Oh, no. You should know better than that.
Okay.
We just did the gun show.
Yeah, we just did the gun show.
Oh.
I knew I didn't have a gun in my luggage, but they pulled me over. They separated me from the herd. They took me to the strip down
Because you look suspicious. Did you
Because
enjoy
my husband, thank you, Mark, gave me pepper spray for Christmas.
And
I had it in my purse. Pepper spray is considered a lethal weapon. They confiscated it, and they said, little lady, you're lucky you're not going to prison.
They did not say that.
You know, it makes for a better story.
I really wonder how many airports you could get through with it and without it.
I got through it. I got through with it on the way down. It was on the way back up.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was just because I'd been down there for 4 days and I was tan.
Oh, maybe
I
so.
lost it already.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, that's interesting. I know that, I travel a lot by air and I can get through. Sometimes I have this little multi-tool in my wallet. And once out of every probably 15 times they stop me and look at it. But I get through 90, most of the time. No
well,
problem.
that's because you're cute.
Thanks, Sue.
Well, they didn't throw me in jail because I was old.
Okay.
And this is for you. This is for my sister Kit, who I was visiting down there. This may be one of the top 5 neighborhood notes I've ever done.
Okay.
Speaking of insurance, I got new auto insurance, and we are saving massive amounts of money because you get a little app that you put on your phone, and it registers whether you brake hard. I know.
No.
Listen, it saves me $1,000 a year.
It's not worth it.
Anyway,
it's not worth it.
I had a perfect record. 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. You should see this. I was saving 25%. I went to visit Kit. I lost, and I have the graph that I will show you. Riding with Kit, took my score down to 50.
Oh my gosh. See?
And then when it came back up, you can register yourself as a writer, as a passenger,
which you should have done.
Which is what I went back and did. But the honest to God, the graph goes.
So Kit's not a great driver, according to the insurance company.
According to the insurance company, she has distraction issues.
Oh gosh. Yeah, we could talk about that on another show. I'm not putting Big Brother in my
notes for you, young lady.
You know, I'm getting ready for second winter. I got my new Women for Sheriff beanie, you know, from Elizabeth Cook's line, and it's ready to go because I know second winter's coming.
Now this show won't air until
I'm not exactly sure, but
March
a couple
11th?
of weeks. Yeah.
March 11th.
But so we could
that,
have had it. We could have second winter by then.
Yeah. But isn't there something else?
But before that, this Saturday we're going to have a dance party at Dee's, and so next time we meet, we'll get to talk about that. Yeah. So excited! There's 4 of us that are over 50, and we're celebrating. We all have birthdays during the year, so we're going to celebrate that fact at the dance party.
Well, of course you have a birthday throughout the year.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, the other thing that I want to talk about neighborhood notes. I'm on the board. I'm president of the board of Metamorphosis Beautifully Changed Women's Recovery Center, and we are having our 3rd annual golf fundraiser on April 18th. And we're going to put a post on the web with all the information about that. But you can go to our website, Metamorphosis Beautifully Changed, and sign up. You can get a team if you have a business and you want to sponsor a hole. We're doing all the kind of things. every bit of this money, 100% of the money goes back into the housing needs and to the women. Like
that was the charity that we used for Elizabeth.
Yeah, that came
show.
With our show. Yeah,
right. And what a wonderful group of folks.
Wonderful group of folks.
Now you say golf. Do you play?
Yeah, I'm going to have a little team.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I grew up playing golf. When I lived in Tylertown, Mississippi, we had we were in Tylertown. It was a country club. But Mama would drop us off in the morning, and we'd play golf. We'd play a couple of rounds of golf in the morning, and then we'd be at the pool all afternoon.
Wait a minute, that's my life. I grew up Elks Country Club.
Yeah.
BPOE. It should be Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks.
Yeah.
We call it Best People on Earth.
Oh, I love it.
When we were 12, every one of the 4 of us, got from my father a starter set of junior golf clubs and 6 lessons from the pro.
Oh, that's nice.
2 of us continued. That would be Mark and Kit. One of us was really, really good, but didn't like all the walking. That would be me.
You.
Yeah. And I gave up. So I haven't swung a golf club in 60 years.
Oh, wow. But it's nice. I like to play golf. It's a fun thing to do. I don't have time for it, and I don't do it anymore, but I do enjoy it.
Well, good luck.
So,
good luck
anyway,
with that.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. We're looking forward to it.
Okay. Any more?
All right. That's pretty much all I got. Have you got anything in the mailbag?
Mailbag. Yes, we are getting, I just want to let folks out there, the TikTok is doing really well. Really? We get hundreds and hundreds of views.
Oh, wow.
But you know what? TikTok is so ephemeral. They're not coming over. I want to tell you that the TikTok people are not coming over to view the show or to hear the show. But Facebook and Instagram, they're doing
lots
really.
Of followers. That's great.
Yeah, that is great. So thank you, everybody out there. So what are they supposed to do?
Keep liking us, follow us,
and share. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and if you're watching us on YouTube or anywhere, you can rate us. Give us a rating. Do all those things. Yeah, do all the things. And if you enjoy it, share it with your friends.
And if you don't enjoy it, share it with your friends because they might enjoy it.
You don't like.
Yeah, share it. If you don't like it, share it with somebody you don't like. Get them.
There you go.
Oh, is it that time?
Wait
a minute. Okay. And yes, we have the studio clock.
Are we on schedule?
We are.
Okay. Well, today we have on the show John Shelby, and it's really a pleasure to have him here. And like I said, in the aftermath of last month's ice storm, I have so many friends have been asking me, are you going to do an insurance claim? Should I do an insurance claim? This and that and the other. And so I thought it was a really good time to be talking about this and provide some information on it. So I asked, John lives down here in the Bend. He grew up in Neely's Bend, and he's one of the greatest people around here. He's just a wonderful person. He lives up on the top of Manise Hill, which is the highest point in the Bend. So when it does...
Is it the highest point in Nashville then?
No, it's not.
Oh.
But when it snows and we have whatever, that's where the community gathers.
To go sledding.
And Johnny is the one that gets the fire started, and he gets everything ready to go so we can all come up there and we can have a little gather around and be warm up there while we run up and down the hill. You know, the other thing about Johnny that I love is that he's a lover of the outdoors, and he comes and duck hunts sometimes on my place, on my pond, and he likes to hunt and fish, and he likes to horseback ride. And so he's just an all-around great guy. But he is here today because he's going to talk to us about insurance. And he's been selling insurance for 34 years. He has his own agency, Johnny Shelby Insurance. And they're located in Goodlettsville, right there near Rivergate, right on the border of Madison and Goodlettsville. And we're going to have links to all this information. He's telling me he's just updating his website today, so he's going to have a spiffy, sparkly new website for everybody to check out. But in case when we finish this, if you have follow-up questions or you need somebody you can trust to talk to, John's the man for you. But anyway, enough about...
Hi, Johnny. Welcome to the porch.
Welcome to the porch. So, Johnny, how long have you been helping people with insurance? How'd you get started in it?
Well, I was in the boat business, and we sold out, and this just opportunity came, and took advantage of it 34 years ago, and I've actually enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy dealing with people, and I try to take care of people, and I just enjoy it. You know, a lot of people say, how do you, a lot of people look at insurance as a negative, but I look at it as a positive because I sell it as a positive, and I take care of the customer, and then I take care of the,
Yeah.
I believe in what I sell is what I'm saying.
Yeah. My dad was an insurance salesman, had his own business too, and that's the way he approached it. He took care of the people that trusted him. What all different, just before we get into homeowners insurance, just in general, what all kind of insurance do you provide?
We primarily in personal and commercial. We do auto insurance, homeowners, life insurance, sell a lot of life insurance. We sell umbrellas with it. That's something that I think you've got some questions on today.
Yeah.
On commercial side, we sell real estate. Rental properties. We sell restaurants, any kind of commercial. So we kind of specialize in it all.
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. You are an insurance agency, and you represent a lot of different providers. Is that correct?
Right.
Yes.
I'm an independent agent. We've got 7 or 8 companies I represent.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're bringing to the market. We've got a software that we shop on homeowners. We shop all our pricing. So we try to keep you, as good a price.
And that's the difference between an independent agent and somebody who represents just one, like State Farm.
Yeah, that's captive is what that's called. Yeah.
Captive. Okay, good.
So tell us about after the ice storm. Did you have a lot of people having claims after the ice storm?
I did. I didn't have too many claims. The biggest claims we had is where pipes would freeze, and then when they warmed it up, they melted and leaked into the house. We had 3 or 4 of them. Normally, I expected a lot more claims than I had. We had more tree claims, tree damage, and we'll go over tree coverage here in a minute, but tree coverage is limited if it don't hit the house.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I got. I had a friend that had a tree that fell way out in her yard by the barn, and it hit her fence, and she said, should I claim this? I said, I don't think so.
Right.
So you just said like the most common problem you had with the people that had pipes with leaks and things like that. What things were, what kind of questions were you getting when all this was going on?
Well, when people started calling these tree companies and trying to get a cost on what it would take to remove them all, tree companies are very expensive. They were getting anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000 just to remove several trees. And so naturally they thought, well, we'll see if it covers under insurance. And insurance has a limited amount of coverage, but you still have your deductible. Most homeowners' deductible now is probably $1,000 on the big part, and so there's not much more coverage than that unless it hits the house. If it hits the house, then we pay for the tree removal, we fix the house and everything else.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, and the negative to it is, let's say it's $1,000 worth of tree removal coverage, and you got $1,000 deductible. and then you had a few other things. Let's say you paid out $1,500. That claim let's say you had never had a claim before. I'm kind of jumping the gun here a little bit.
No, this is perfect.
You get a 10% discount claims free if you had never had a claim. So if you've never had a claim, you're going to lose your 10% deductible for 5 years with any company out there. So you got to factor that cost in. Let's say your premium's $2,000 a year. 10% of that times 5 years, there's $1,000 that you're going to pay more to pay out $1,000. So
Exactly.
it's a wash in money, and most people don't understand that. I try to educate. The second part of that, they say, well, what have I got insurance for? You got insurance for the big loss.
Yeah.
And what I try to educate people on, if you can self-insure yourself to $1,000 or $2,000, you will come out ahead 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So, may I say, is that kind of philosophy also auto?
Same, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's good to know.
Yeah, because I get people calling me, and if they've got a $1,200 claim, or I try to sell $1,000 deductibles even on auto because let's say you got a $500 deductible, you're paying extra premium for that small deductible, and then I got people say, well, I wouldn't turn it in unless it was over $2,000. I said, well, let's increase. No sense in buying that coverage if you ain't going to use it, because that's the same factor. And you never know. Let's say you have 2 claims. Let's say you have have a bad year. Then the company you're with could non-renew you. Your rates are going. I mean, it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I try to tell everybody, turn it in if it's a big claim. To you, a big claim might be $1,000. To her, might be $4,000. Everybody's different. So I just say you do what you feel like you got to do. I'll do whatever. I'll never tell them not to turn the claim in.
Yeah.
But
you give them the pluses and minuses and let them make a decision.
And same on home, because you never know. We're coming into tornado season here in Nashville, and you could have another major claim here the next 60 days.
Yeah.
So when a person is thinking about, you kind of touched on the deductible, which makes sense. Like, how much can you afford? And I love that. I never actually thought about it, because I'm like, I'm not going to. I won't make a claim unless it's over X. I never thought, well, I should make my deductible that. But that's a good point. But when you're thinking about your homeowner's insurance, and maybe you can even weave the umbrella policy into this, how do you figure out how much coverage you need? And if you need an umbrella policy?
Well, let's talk about umbrella. Umbrella is strictly liability coverage. And in this day, I'm going to jump your gun here a minute on your questions. Here in the city of Nashville, you have a ton of people riding around with no insurance, or they're underinsured. So let's say this person hits you. State minimum limits that they require is $25,000 per person. So I hit you and I've got that coverage, and your hospital bill's $450,000, which is not a lot of healthcare now is astronomical. And so you're going to get $25,000 from that guy, and let's say he has no assets or she has no assets, and there's nothing to go after to sue the insurance company. Then that's where your uninsured and underinsured coverage comes in and protects you. Anybody in Nashville needs as high a limit there as possible. That can be added to your umbrella. If you're riding a motorcycle, for example, motorcycles, usually if there's a wreck, the medical payments are very expensive. And umbrellas needed more so in that case, because the underinsured of the other coverage.
Because you are not going to get what you need from that driver, and your own umbrella insurance is going to get you through.
And then the insurance company might subrogate. That's a big word, meaning I'm going to go back after them, but they might not have any assets, so we'll move on. But your question, where do we start on this?
Well, how do you decide what you need? Let's just say, how much do I need? How do I figure out what I need for my home? And I got that, but I need an umbrella policy. How much?
And should I get replacement cost?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't sell a house without replacement cost.
Okay.
Period. Contents, and it's the coverage difference price. It's a no-brainer. It's not worth not having.
Okay.
Because let's look at this house. I'm very familiar with this house. I grew up in this area. When I get a house, I have to ask you how many bathrooms you got, square footage, how many fireplaces, how many garage. I have to ask you a lot of questions. And so I put it in the software, and it says, okay, this house is worth $380,000. That's what we can replace it cost. The biggest thing is your lot might be worth $100,000 or $50,000. We don't need to insure that. All we want is this building. And so your insurance needs to be at that number. So, sometimes I see policies come in. You might have a house insurance for $250,000. First thing I'm gonna say, Sue, this thing is underinsured big time. And so, you know, a lot of people say, well, that's okay. I'm comfortable with that. But if this house burned down today, you couldn't replace it.
Oh God, no.
Now you've got replacement cost in your coverage. An insurance agent's obligation is to insure you for what it's worth today that I write your insurance. So I couldn't, a lot of agents will come in there and match it. I can't do that because I know I don't want to stand in your driveway looking at the ashes and say, I'm not sure if we got enough money here to replace your house. So it's a problem. Something you as a customer need to be aware of also. So the agent has a cost in his computer. They're going to give you what the estimated replacement cost is based on today. Your house being an older house, and I'm sure I know who your agent is. I'm sure they've taken care of that to make sure of it.
We had long conversations about that.
Because there's so many different factors in your house, and say this one,
Yeah.
that when you're looking at replacement costs, the size, it's an older house. Let's say you've got solid wood trim where she might have a
veneer. Yeah.
there's just so many factors involved.
Yeah.
So, but that's where your agent should be able to educate you. You might know a contractor in the area. You might say, hey, what could you rebuild my house for? Used to, you could build a house in Middle Tennessee, $120 to $150 a square foot. Them days are gone.
Yeah, they're long gone, aren't they?
I say the minimum would be $180 to $220, and that would be your basic 8-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
Formica top. There's so many factors in there.
So 2,000 square foot, 1,500 square foot home, which is a pretty average.
Right.
1,500 square. You take $1,000 a square foot, I'm sorry. What did you just say?
Say 200. Just figuring.
$200 a square foot. You are talking 300,000 minimum without granite counters or without
Formica. Everything would be the bargain price stuff, but say you've got replacement costs. House burns down, tornado takes it out, you're going to have 15-20% of debris removal. Just to haul all this stuff off and take it to the dump, you got trucks and trailers and time. Well, that's what your replacement costs. You properly insure it, and your replacement costs will pay. Some policies are 25% over that amount. Some of them are unlimited. Just depends on the policy.
Okay.
So
this is really great information. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's.
So when you're looking at the policy, what are the things that you want to make sure in there?
You got guaranteed replacement, and your replacement cost is enough that you know you can replace your house with. Because there's agents out there that'll write you for whatever number it is, and because he might not know this house, he might just say, well, here's what you had insured. That's his out because you had it currently. But that's just
so you could do it based on $200 a square foot, but really this is a $250 a square foot, so you can insure it for more than
or you go up to one of the big subdivisions in Gallatin. We're talking 350, 370 square foot. So it just depends on the house. There's a lot of
and you know what? Depending on the house, the contents. That's another thing. The contents. Usually it's a percentage of the thing. But what if we're in Nashville? What if you've got a collection of Les Paul guitars?
Okay.
And you just love to play those Les Paul guitars.
And in that application, that agent should ask you if you've got any collectibles, and that would be or any. Let's say you had your mother's table there, for example, and you think it's worth $3,000. Solid oak round table. We've all seen them in every house.
Yep.
To you, it's $3,000 because that was Mama's. We don't insure that value. Love you, Mama. We just don't insure it.
Right.
Because what we're going to do, we're going to go down here to Rafferty's or one of the, not Rafferty's. What's that furniture place?
Rafferty's get some hot wings.
Rooms to go.
We're going to eat and we're going to talk. But anyway, wherever you can go buy a solid, let's go to the oak furniture place.
Yes.
We'll go up there and we're going to replace that table with that solid oak table. Just because it's got a few nicks from the little brother and this right here, that's no value.
Yeah.
But when it comes to collections, you need to get them appraised. And it's called an inland marine. Don't ask me. That's just what the insurance calls it. But it's a floater for jewelry, guns. There is all this has got base coverage. But when that agent and he says guns, say, well, how much coverage you got? It might have $3,000. The most per piece would be $1,000. So let's say you got a collection of $1,500 guns, and you need to add it to a floater or increase that amount.
Gotcha.
So any kind of collectibles, from guitars to stamps. You're collecting money. There's a value on that, and that's what's got to be insured, and that's what's called the inland marine.
And so that requires an appraisal, an official.
Right. For if you came to me and if you had a bunch of diamond rings that you bought, I would have to have an appraisal before the insurance company would actually let me add it to the policy.
Okay, so Johnny, what are some things that people often think are covered on their policy, but they're not?
Okay, let's say that wall had a leak in it.
Okay.
And there's a leak behind there. It's been going on for 6 months. So all of a sudden you're walking down through and this carpet's wet and you're like, ooh, I got a leak. They take it apart. There's mold all in there. The wood's rotten. It's been there for a long time. Insurance companies only cover sudden discharge of water. Now, if you come here and your water heater's in that closet, for example, and you walk in here and this whole place is flooded, we're covered 100%. But if it's over time, they're an insurance company. If you're getting out of the shower every day and you dry off outside the shower, I don't mean to get personal, and all your water is going to stand right there and hit the edge of that bathtub and go down.
Yeah.
5 years later, you're standing there drying off and the floor just goes poof and you drop about 3 or 4 inches. Insurance don't cover that.
Oh, interesting.
This is really interesting. I just signed up for my HVAC. Check the air conditioner, check the heater. Now they're offering, and just throwing it in, a plumbing assessment. They're going around to see whether or not there are any slow leaks, which would alert me to get that fixed now because insurance is not going to cover it.
And you can always see go look at your meter. Your meter will be turning if there's a leak, even if it's just a drip.
That's a great.
Anyway, that's nothing to do with insurance.
Yeah, that's
That's
just real tip.
Pro tip. Pro tip.
Well, what are some things that are like gray zones that can happen that somebody's got to make a judgment call on whether or not it's covered? Are there things like that?
There's a lot. When I write a policy, I've got to start this. I can tell you the whole story. When we write your policy, I go over every line of coverage. You're going to remember that about 2 weeks, maybe.
Maybe 2 minutes.
Just like some of this stuff, y'all probably heard this. But what's going to happen is if you call me and you got a questionable claim, I'm going to look it up myself. I know most of it, but I can't retain all that information. And sometimes I have to say, let's turn in, let the adjuster. The policy tells you what we're going to cover. And I know, I don't want to say 90% of it, most of it I know what's going to be covered. Trees, for example, fall in the yard. You'd think that'd be covered. It's not.
No, I never thought that would be covered.
Well, trust me, some people do. Especially when
unless there's damage to.
If there's damage to the house.
Yes, we
cover,
to
a fence or a a bar
outbuilding, your barn,
right.
And all this stuff. Then it'd fix the barn, fix the stuff. Gray areas. Golly, I can't believe I can't think of this. Most of the time,
roofs.
Okay, let's talk about roofs.
Yeah,
roofs
let's talk.
The roofing industry has raped us as an insurance business, and we've created the monster, so I can't say nothing else. You've got a lot of roofers. When there's a storm coming on, all of a sudden this guy's knocking on your door. Matter of fact, if you call me with a claim, I'm going to say, how did you find out you had roof damage? You'll say, well, a guy knocked on my door. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, can I send you one of my roofers that I trust to look at it? And 9 times out of 10, he'll call me and say, Johnny's got a little damage here. It might be $300. I can fix it, but this roof, they won't cover this under insurance.
Right.
It's happening. You need to call your agent, have him send one of his roofers out he trusts, let them look at it, then they make a determination.
That's what happened. And when they did come out, there was a determination that X% was just age, and X% was hail and wind from 2 storms that we had just had, and that's how they proceeded. The bill was X. The insurance paid for their part, and we paid for our part.
Well, there's some companies that pay actual cash value for roofs, and that's it. The companies I represent pays full replacement. For example, Travelers Insurance is one of my good carriers. If your roof is older than 20 years old, I can't even write you. That's how bad the roofing industry has abused the market. But actual cash value, let's say you put a roof and it's 20 years old and it's 20 years ago, and we come in and have a claim, they're going to pay you, you're not going to get nothing for your roof because a 20-year-old roof is not worth a lot.
Okay, you would think They sell 25-year tiles. They sell 40-year tiles.
And they last about half that.
And they last about, okay, that's a good thing.
Okay, I have one more very important question.
And then I've got one.
Okay, check my time.
Oh, we're good.
What, you think about people that live down in Florida, experiencing hurricanes, people out west that are in fire zones, and they need insurance and they can't get it. What happens?
I don't know. The market, right now, I have a certain particular company that cancels people when they have 2 claims, period. And a lot of companies will with 2 claims. And the reason why, statistically, you are a good client. You're in the preferred zone. Once you fall out of that preferred zone by 2 or 3 claims, they're going to non-renew you. Nothing personal. That's just the money game we have to play in. Mm-hmm. So people call me a lot from this agency, or the agent say, hey, I'm sending you, Kelly Boyd, she's got 3 claims. And I've got a few markets. Your premium's going to go from $2,000 up to about $18, $12, $10, depending on the dwelling cost.
Yeah.
There are some markets out there. The coverage is not as good. You go from preferred to standard is what that is. Now down in Florida, that's a whole different drum because most all your companies I represent have pulled out of Florida because they've changed so many rules and the loss ratios. Insurance is all about money.
So people just don't have insurance down there?
Oh no, they've got, but they're aftermarket companies that nobody knows. I've got a bunch of people that bought houses, and I tell them to send me their policy and quote. You got to buy 3 policies down there: your base policy, then you got to get a wind policy, and then a flood policy.
Well, actually, that ties into my question: the state insurance regulatory. What good and when should we go to our state insurance person? They say, send in your questions to the state regulatory agency.
When you feel like you've been cheated, basically, or lied to,
okay.
The biggest thing is most agents I know, there's a few out there that are definitely not the best in the world, but like any business, real estate, everything, there's always, majority of them are going to tell you what your coverages are. And when you call them with a situation, they're going to tell you why it's not covered, and here it is. And plus, if we turn it in, that adjuster is going to send you a document coming out of the policy saying, line 6, page 12, whatever, this is where it says this is not covered. Now, if that's a debate, you can call your insurance agent. Your agent could fight for you on that, try to discuss it. Golly, 99% of all, I wish I could say 100, but every once in a while, one will go off tangent. Most of my claims get taken care of to the fullest.
Great.
And not tooting my horn, but if I know when the adjuster is on a claim, I don't hear there's a problem. If you and him are not getting along and you're frustrated, that adjuster's not going to call me and say, you need to call Sue. It ain't going to happen.
Okay.
So I tell my customer when I turn it in, I'll say, hey, if there's any issues, call me. That's what I'm for. So they'll call me like, let me say this. I don't know if we got time for it, but let's say we have a claim on a building that's $85,000. They're going to get, insurance has got to get you back to where you were the day you had the claim. The day you had the claim, you had actual cash value was $60,000. Okay, what that used garage and all the repairs were $60,000. If we replace it, it's $85,000. Today, the adjuster is going to write you a check for $65,000. When you replace it, you send that bill to that adjuster. Adjuster writes you a check for the difference. All that's explained in that estimate, but 99% of people don't really understand what depreciation is on a payout. They're still going to get that money, but you got to do, if you don't fix it, you get $60,000. We did our job, but replacement cost gives you back to where you were.
That happened to me on my shed.
I just got a $3,000 check. Somebody ran into me, an uninsured motorist, totaled my car. 6 months later, they took care of everything, soup to nuts. I was thrilled. Three months later, I get another check for $3,000. I went, what? And I called up and said, oh, well, that's the difference between we had to, up our estimate because, and I thought, well, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
You did that on auto.
Yeah.
See, they don't really depreciate on autos. I don't know what that was for. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay. Erase that part of you.
So, all right. Did you get your question answered?
I did. It was about state insurance agencies.
Yeah.
Well, the only time you need to call to get the state involved, if there's an ethical issue or you feel like you've been cheated, give the agent a chance.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
A lot of people get frustrated, with situations because they think insurance covers all. We don't cover all. This is a named peril policy. This is something I could tell you, and next year I'd say, what was that? And you're like, I don't remember. Named peril is wind, hail, fire, vandalism. It's named peril. So people call me sometimes, this might be that gray area, and they might say, my roof's leaking. Well, if it's workmanship, flashing around that fireplace, it ain't gonna be covered. Now, if a tree limb punctures a hole, wind pulls the stuff up, we covered 100%. But I get that call probably more anyway. I didn't think about that. But they'll say, I got water coming through the house. Well, the roofer will go over there and they say, Johnny, the roof's fine. But this flashing, a lot of times that rubber boot on your going to the restroom that goes around that vent is cracked, and you're taking in water right there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Johnny. It's been
great. One last question. I want to say, are there advantages of having a local agent?
Boy, you're asking the wrong person.
And do you give your personal phone number out to your clients?
I'm going to say 40-50% has my personal cell. Now, because sometimes you can call me and I can take care of your problem in 2 minutes. You're happy, you're comfortable. Now, if you call me and you say, look, I got a cancellation notice in the mail and it's 7 o'clock at night, I want to say, did you pay the bill? But I have to be because I don't have the computer there. I just say, look, Kelly, I can't tell you till tomorrow. If it's a crisis, I want to take care. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if I can make you sleep the rest of the night, call me.
Yeah.
I've never got a call that late. If it's emergency, the people that have my cell, I think, are professional and they understand the situation.
Yeah.
So, but yes, if I don't know you, until I get to know you, you probably won't get my cell number. Nothing personal. It's just,
but you are there, you are.
Yes.
I am very available. And Amanda, my office manager, you can ask anybody that. Every one of my customers, sometimes customer calls and says, look, I don't even want to talk to you no more. Where's Amanda? And they're kidding with me, but I'm like, sure, and I love that. I really do, because she's good. Most time if somebody says, Johnny, I called Amanda and she didn't send me that certificate of insurance. And I'm like, I tell you what I'll do, Kelly, I'll bet you lunch. She sent it. That's how good she is.
Yeah.
And I hadn't lost a lunch yet.
All right.
Now, the email might be wrong, but that's just the way we try to operate as good as we can.
Well, we love our neighbors, so we're all for it. Thank you again, Johnny.
Thank you so much for being here. This is great.
Yeah, appreciate it. And believe me, the tip about the water is the meter running? I'm gonna honestly. Okay, right. Kelly, what's coming up? What do we got here?
Well, I think we're getting ready for our next show about rock and roll.
Well, it is. Well, it's about, our next show will be about being a musician in Music City with Corey Yance of Old Crow Medicine Show, born and raised Nashvilleian, steeped in music his whole life. It'll be an interesting, we love our neighbors. And
we have such great
he's a neighbor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we have had so many people from the band be on this show. And just
it's
really
just amazing.
I don't know him.
Oh, do you know Old Crow Medicine Show?
I do. That's what I'm saying. I really can't believe.
Then you know Corey. Yeah. So it's social media report time. Over to our social media reporter, Kelly.
Okay, well, check us out on the socials. Facebook.
That has been your social media report from our correspondent. Thanks
for listening and watching the show. And we're going to have all Johnny's information up. So if you have insurance questions or you need anything, get in touch with him. He can help you out. But if you want to get in touch with us, check us out on Facebook, Instagram.
And our very own website with an email link to us.
And the website is www.frontporchaf.com.
And you don't have to use the www anymore in the 21st century.
And you can if you want to, though. And you can find us on TikTok.
But never.
And YouTube. But never,
ever. Tweet.
Right.
Tweet. Okay.
Anyway, so
until next time, we'll grab our waters and our Sprites.
Exactly. When we wish we had a breakfast beer.
Mine's over there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your breakfast beer?
I'll share yours.
All right. Until next time, you can read the bottom.
I can't get my pen. We gather on our front porch.
Grab a drink and solve all the problems of the world. Cheers, y'all.